Okay, I think we're back. Sorry about that, everybody. That was a little weird. I don't know what happened. My internet just decided to go away for whatever reason, so sorry about that confusion. But we're back. We're fine. We're good. We're fine. Get my crochet back. Yeah, just sometimes my internet goes out. Don't know when, don't know why, don't know for how long. We'll just cut out. Yeah, like gasp. The internet went out. But we're fine. We didn't lose anything. There's just a weird blip there. So, but we're back. So, let's get back into this. I hope you guys didn't miss anything. It's just Lucette realizing what she, forgot. And Varg being there, and she suddenly felt dizzy as she remembered that her mother was resurrected. So much to my surprise, Varg reaches out to steady me, his grip firm but gentle. Slow down, princess. You're not ready to fight me yet. What time is it? Almost dawn. Will he become Fritz again in a few hours? Or have I lost Fritz forever? Would you believe me if I told you Fritz doesn't want to see you? The awareness of my last conversation with Fritz hits me full force. After what happened last time we spoke, I'm not surprised that Fritz doesn't want to see me. He was too ashamed to face you. I had no idea Fritz would react the way he did to your words. I have most of my stronger memories. Not all of them, but most. Most of his stronger memories. I thought he'd have most of mine too, but I guess that's not the case. What memories do you have? That's none of your business. The expression on his face is clouded. For a few moments, he's silent. Thoughtful. In the beginning, they were mostly of you. Oh? What? Varg glances away. I notice the way his fingers drum endlessly on his cane and stare. I've never seen Varg look like this. I carefully slide my way over to the edge of my bed, allowing my feet to dangle to the floor. Fritz cares for you, princess. Take my word for it, if no one else's. Why is he suddenly telling me all of this? Will I ever see him again? Or has he lost to you? Varg flinches back from me, taking a few steps back to put some distance between the two of us. I can't say. I watch Varg closely. I've never noticed before, but Varg's emotions are very clear if you know what to look for. Oh, we gonna press him. Oh, we gonna press this bitch. You can't say, or you won't say, princess. The gentleness with which he says my title makes me think of Fritz. However, just as I'm beginning to hear Fritz's voice through him, his demeanor changes once again. The vulnerable man disappears and is replaced by the usual facade. Varg straightens and glares at me. He displays his confidence to hide his true emotions. It seems like he wears two masks. You are more like Fritz than you would care to admit. Fritz would never harm me. Varg snarls, but he no longer intimidates me. Fritz this, Fritz that. All you ever talk about is that idiot, even though I have been the one by your side this entire time. Ooh, is someone jealous? Fritz is nothing compared to me. Then why do you feel threatened by him? They gasp. My words render Varg speechless. I was also speechless for a moment there. I dimly noticed the pattern of red dawn scattered across my room. The sun is almost up. I look back to Varg, my eyes seeking Fritz. Varg moves, his eyes fierce as he closes the distance between us. I do... Oh my god! They gasp. Varg presses his lips to mine, effectively stifling the rest of the word. I have only a moment to gasp out for breath before Varg kisses me again, more deeply. Oh my god. Oh my god. I raise my hands to push him away for a brief second as my mind hazes over in shock. Varg takes advantage of my confusion and moves forward again, an unreadable expression in his eyes as he leans over me. I try to pull away, but Varg tangles his hand in my hair, tilting my head back to press his lips firmly against mine once more. Okay. We need to have a quick discussion here, folks. I find this trope in storytelling very attractive and hot. But I am a grown-ass adult. And I know if someone did this to me in real life, I would punch them. I would absolutely lay them flat on their ass. This in real life is not attractive. This is bad. This is very, very bad. But in a story where this guy is like a bad guy, and he obviously has feelings for you, but he's fighting those feelings, it's kind of hot. Yep, this is literally right up my alley. It's pretty bad. But that being said, this is a fairy tale story. This is not real life. I can enjoy this in story form. I can enjoy the fantasy of this. I do not think that is something anybody should do to somebody, because it's a sexual assault. Like, let's just get this out of the way. This is sexual assault. He is forcing himself onto her. Even if it is just a kiss, she did not consent to this. She did not agree to this. This is bad. This is not good. In real life. In fantasy, though, kind of hot, just a little bit. Anyway, so let's get back to it. No, this is not right. I tremble as his free arm sweeps down my back and eventually comes to rest on my waist. Why is he kissing me? Girl, don't question it. He doesn't even like me. Anger clears my mind. I ball my hand into fist and shove at Varg's chest. His eyes are bright and out of focus when I am able to look into them. His chest betrays his labored breathing. Ooh, he was hot and bothered by that. Okay. I wipe the back of my hand against my mouth as I glare at Varg. I do not trust myself to speak without screaming at him. Coherence slowly starts to filter back into his gaze. I can see the awareness in his gaze along with guilt. I suddenly realize that my cheeks are now wet with tears. Why am I crying? Varg takes a step towards me, and though he does not utter a single word, I can see from his body language that he means to apologize. He reaches a hand out as if to touch my face. No! I move back and close my eyes. Aduve. Lucette? I open my eyes when I hear the familiar voice and watch as Fritz quickly rushes to my side and kneels in front of me. His hands cup my face as his thumbs press against my cheeks, wiping away the tears that I cannot stop. What did he do, Princess? Fritz. I feel suddenly overwhelmed, like there's too much whirling in my mind. I feel suddenly... Oh, nope. I'm not sure how long we sit together. It feels short, like a single moment, but it could have been an eternity. I'm sorry, Princess. Oops. I shake my head and attempt to clear my fractured thoughts. Fritz frowns, but the expression clears as he brushes my hair away from my face. His fingertips gently trace my cheeks as he speaks. I can words. I failed as your knight. I should never have left you alone that night. I should have stopped all of this from happening. All I've done is cause you pain. And this past week has been hell. I didn't know if you'd wake up or if I'd be able to be with you when you did. He looks at me, his expression grim. And I wasn't there when you did. Varg was. They gasp. You finally know about him. Fritz nods as he gives me a pained smile. No apology could ever be enough to excuse what I did to you. I doubted you that night because I thought what you were saying was impossible. I wondered how I could be cursed without knowing about it. But now, I hate myself for treating you the way I did. I must have put you through so much suffering because I did not believe you. I know I have never been worthy of you, but now I have betrayed the trust you had in me. He drops his hands and pulls away from me. I don't think I have the right to be called your knight. Oh, Fritz, you emotional baby. I reach out and grab his hand without thinking. Don't say that. Fritz looks at me in shock. His wide-eyed gaze only makes me feel embarrassed, and I have to focus to keep from floundering. After a long moment, Fritz manages to smile at me. It's small, but genuine. I don't deserve your kindness. Kindness? Is that what this is? We sit together in silence for some time, enjoying each other's calm presence. My room is quiet as the sun steadily starts to rise. Do you know what has happened during the last week? I'm afraid not. I wasn't myself for most of it. He's fading even faster now, and just when I feel that I've truly started to know him. I've already told you about the disappearance of the prince and princess, but it seems like the queen has gone missing as well. Ophelia is missing. I can only hope that they made it out alive, and that Rod led them back to the march, and there they will be safe. I don't think I would ever trust anyone there. I still don't, but Parfait say that the Marchand is a place evil cannot overtake. And whether or not Varg is truly evil, his mission is to kill them. I can at least be sure Parfait would protect them. King Jerno is still here, but he's different. He's not himself. And what happened? It's your mother. The day you fainted, the same morning your mother returned. I can only stare at Fritz in shock, knowing that what happened that night wasn't just a dream. Everyone in the castle is acting as if nothing is wrong. It's like the last 4 years haven't happened. But the instant I saw her, I recognized her. And after that, well, I don't remember what came next. My next conscious moment was today, when I saw you. Fritz raises his hand as if to touch my face, but he abruptly pulls it away. He flinches, then doubles over, his face contorted with pain. No, not now. I won't let you! His eyes are cloudy, his gaze turned inward. He's speaking to the other side of himself that I cannot see. I reach out to him and try to call him back. Fritz! He looks up at me and attempts a sad smile. He's trying to make it seem like he's fine. When he speaks, it's through gritted teeth. I'll never let him hurt you. Can you trust me? About that at least. Yes. Lucette. Oh my god. The shadows dance around him, almost tauntingly at first, and then they simply engulf him and Fritz disappears into darkness. I take a step back. I hate to interrupt. You again. I snarl at him, but Varg merely shrugs. He looks indifferent, as if what transpired between us before never happened. What a bitch. I have things to do today. Varg turns away and walks briskly out of the room without glancing back. I make my way through the halls of the palace, determined to find Sir Mithros. Over the past few months, I have been all but invisible to the people in the palace. It allowed me to pass undisturbed. I've always figured it was because no one remembered who I was with my curse. But today things are different. A maid sweeping the halls jumps at the sight of me before quickly curtsying. Your Highness! Her eyes are downcast and she does not look up at me as I pass by her. As I walk past her, two other servants heading in my direction also move to the side of the hallway. Your Highness. Your Highness. They remember who I am now. But how? Has my curse somehow been broken? I spend the entire morning searching for Sir Mithros, but he's nowhere to be found. The only room I have yet to search is the throne room. I push open the doors and walk inside. There I met with an unexpected sight. The king sits on his throne, his posture regal, but his eyes downcast. Your Majesty? He doesn't look up even when I enter, but I can see that his eyes are stony, unmoving. I approach him cautiously, and upon closer look, I notice his eyes look so empty. It's almost as if he cannot see me. I inhale, and something catches into my throat. My heart begins to beat rapidly. What have they done to you? My princess. I whirl around to see Sir Mithros approaching me with a smile. Where did he come from? I could have sworn there were no one else here when I entered. Sir Mithros? I was just on my way to see you. Varg just told me you had awakened. What is wrong with the king? Physically, there's nothing wrong with him at all. Anger begins to burn within me. You swore you wouldn't harm him. Is he not alive, my princess? Ooh, I hate him! Take a good look at him. The king is completely unharmed. The change in Sir Mithra's expression is subtle, but I can feel the malice in his gaze. I should add that it was difficult to keep this promise, princess. My queen will be having words with you about this. Mother. Where is she? She has left the palace for the time being. You have been unconscious for a week. My queen did not spend every moment fretting by your bedside. But didn't Varg say he was the one to stay by my side? Wait. I shake the thought from my mind. Hold up. You've been unconscious for a week. My queen could not spend every moment fretted by your bedside. Oh, so he's like saying, yeah, Mithras is the worst. But, yeah, he's pretty much being like, yeah, no. Your mother couldn't just stay by your bedside the entire time. Well, but it's like, she wasn't. She didn't. This woman does not care about her daughter. and it hurts me. Anyway, I shake the thought from my mind. When will I be seeing her? At dinner, I assume. Now, if that's all... Wait. Sir Mithras pauses abruptly to look at me. The servants I met in the hallway seem to remember me. How? You really cannot guess. He sighs, he runs a hand through his hair. When you turned 18 and became the Tenerum bearer, the curse that the lesser witch cast on you broke. What? Moments before your mother awoke, you were the strongest witch in all of Angeli. A lesser witch's spell could not have any effect over you. Congratulations, Princess. You are no longer a victim of the curse. Your life is back to the way that it was before. Now, if there's anything else you would like to ask me? Yes, there is. About Fritz. Alright, so we don't get we don't get to watch her go through the many of good deeds that she gets to break her curse. In this route, we only get the one, but we can definitely tell that she, is changing for the better. Hopefully, a little bit. Anyway, which one is it? How do I break his curse? Remove his curse. I think asking how do I break his curse is better, because just demanding him to remove the curse is anyway. Okay. How do I remove his curse? Much to my astonishment, Sir Mithras begins to laugh. The sound is cruel and so sharp and deeply it cuts through the whatever hope had been forming in my heart. You wish to break his curse? Oh, Princess, you should have told me earlier you cared so much about the boy. Really? Perhaps then I would have tailored his curse to your requirements. Poor, upstanding, chivalrous Fritz. In many ways, he was too much of a knight for his father's liking. Oop, don't get close to me. Sir Mithras leans closer to me, so close that I can see the crazed gleam in his eyes. Would you like to know why I cursed him, Princess? I remained rooted in place, but not flinching away from Mithras is harder than I would have thought. Sir Allicaster approached his son for help, expecting him to help kill the king and take over the throne, but Fritz refused. Sir Allicaster needed an obedient servant, and Fritz deserved to be punished for stepping out of line. No. And so I removed those memories of Allicaster telling Fritz of his devious plans and gave him the curse. Fritz has the Little Red Riding Hood curse. There is, after all, no better servant than the big, bad wolf. He has all the power and drive of a predator, but is still so obedient. Wolves are closely related to dogs, after all. And better yet, the big bad wolf will always stay close to the lady he desires to devour. Ooh! I can feel disgust seething in my stomach. I have created the perfect servant for Sir Allicaster. In short, Sir Mithras suddenly reaches out a hand to grab my face by the chin. He forces my head up at a painful angle. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, I don't like it at all. There is no breaking his curse, Princess. Not unless Fritz is somehow able to mentally overpower Varg. And we all know how formidable Varg is. Sir Mithras releases me. Now, put the idea out of your pretty little head. Don't you really have anything... don't you already have everything you ever wanted? He smiles wearily before turning and walking out of the throne room, leaving me alone and trembling. To break the curse, Fritz has to overthrow Varg in his own mind? A sudden cold descends upon me. I wrap my arms around myself and shudder. I turn to look at the king, but he has not moved since my encounter with Sir Mithros. Your Majesty, did I do this to you? Mother, if she were here, she could make sense of it for me. Mother, where are you? I stare at my now trembling hands. This is not what I wanted at all. Princess, we cannot. I'm the crown princess. Which is why we cannot allow you to leave on your own, Your Highness. It's strange to think just a few months ago these same men did everything they could to keep me out of the palace. Your Highness, you'll need an escort if you want to leave. I can take care of myself. Back to being a nuisance, I see. Sir, they know who he is? I watch in stunned silence as both soldiers salute to Varg. Varg turns to smirk at me. Well, what's going on here? The princess wishes to leave the palace to visit the town. Does she now? I can feel Varg's eyes on me, but I refuse to look at him. Fine, I will accompany her. But the queen said... The words die in the man's throat as Varg turns to glower at him, his eyes flashing with impatience, and it's enough to coax the soldier into silence. Open the gates. Yes, sir. The gates swing open. I rush out thinking that maybe if I move fast enough I can lose Varg. That's not how that works, boo. So what are we here for? I thought I tried my hardest to shake him. Varg is still irritatingly close. It's impossible to leave him. Princess? Varg leans out and wraps his fingers around my elbow, pulling me to a stop in the shadows of an alleyway. I gasp. My irritation is immediate, and I look up to glare at him. What are we doing in town? As much as I don't want to agree with those idiot knights, you really shouldn't be wandering the streets. My next words are cold and sharp. Why not? Before, that was what everyone insisted I do. And now the only thing everyone wants from me is to stay indoors. Varg is silent for a few moments before finally letting out an exasperated sigh. Angeli is not what it was, Princess. What are you talking about? Varg places his hand on my shoulder and turns me so that I am looking out into the streets. I am not overly familiar with the kingdom, but even I can tell that something is off. The shops that had once been colorful displayed windows are now empty. The displays are dull or non-existent. The liveliness of the market stall is all but gone. Stalls. My gaze is drawn to the bakery shop that Fritz had taken me all those months ago. Its dim windows tell me that it is closed. There's so many different sweets here. Buy whatever you like. Are you certain? Absolutely. I know nothing makes me happier than a good pastry. Pastry? How do you know that? Well, it's a knight's job to know these sort of things. Just how much do you know about me? Nothing that anyone else wouldn't know. What's my favorite color? Blue. My favorite flower? Lilies. I told you that these croissants were famous, right? Those are my favorite. I'll get a croissant then. Not a custard Danish? I thought you liked those best. A croissant, of course. Right away. Sorry. Real quick, I don't know if Parfait can clear his curse. Just because Parfait cannot clear the curse of anybody in the Marchen. But we'll see. But now we're just over here being cute with Fritz, being like, what's all my favorite things? And Fritz is like, I know everything because I watch you. That's not weird, is it, princess? He is a sweet boy, a sweet baby boy. Our sweet, sweet sword himbo who's doing his best. Right, Jill? Just end me. An all too familiar ache beats within my chest. Has it been that long since that day? Everything was so vibrant and full of energy back then. This place was so lively and there was music that filled the streets and performances everywhere, but now so much has changed. It's so silent. The streets are so empty, and the eyes of the people, their eyes are glazed and unseeing, just like the king's. I step forward to get a better look without realizing I'm only dimly aware of Varg's hand, which have not moved from my shoulders. What happened? The Queen happened. But the people, she can take control and can demand obedience, but she can't force love or loyalty. The people of Angela are being crushed, princess, and they know who's responsible for it. Varg's voice is hushed, but he still draws stares. I flinch back at the expressions on the people's faces as they look at us. There is fear in their eyes. I instinctively retreat until I fall back into Varg. His hands tighten on my shoulders. They know that you're her daughter. These are the looks that had always given me. This is why they have feared me. Abruptly, Varg draws his cape around me, enclosing me in darkness. Oh. What? When light finally filters back into my consciousness, I am facing a completely different street. What did this dude do? What did you do? Smoke and mirrors. Things might have gotten out of hand back there, so I got us out. He suddenly releases me and nudges me forward. Can we return to the palace now? I grit my teeth. I still want to see the town. It's impossible to think that the entire place is so changed. How is that possible? Sir Mithros said Mother was out. I really need to see her. It's almost dinner time, princess. Your family will be expecting you. Mother will be expecting me. I should see her at dinner, right? Thinking about everything that has transpired exhausts me. I rub my eyes and sigh. Fine. Let us return. When I enter the dining hall, a familiar figure stands by one of the windows. I have not seen her for 4 years, but she remains unchanged. Standing before me is the only person whose love I have never doubted. Mother! Oh, my dearest one. Sorry. I moved towards her immediately, like a moth drawn to a flame. How dare they make this bad, evil lady so hot? I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Anyway. Soon, I have my arms wrapped around her in a hug. I don't care that I'm crying. Mother, I've missed you so much. And I have missed you. I cannot believe that Mother is indeed alive. I'm crying so hard, tears blur my eyes, and it takes effort to speak. I thought you died. Mother presses a soft, cool hand to my cheek. Her touch is more comforting than I remember. And it's thanks to you that I did not. I'm so proud of you, love. I had thought her warmth would envelop me longer, but Mother is quick to draw away from me. I look up at her in confusion and flinch when I see her gaze is cold. But I heard you left the palace today. They gasp. What have I told you about leaving the palace, Lucette? No excuses. You know my feelings on this. But have you truly become so distrustful while I was absent? Disrespectful while I was absent, excuse me. Let's not fight. Not tonight. Yes, Mother. Come, sit. I take my usual chair and stare at the now vacant seats in front of me. Though there is a heaviness in my chest as I remember who sat in them. Those are Ophelia, Rod, and Evangeline's places. And the king. I turn to look at him and feel my heart falter, then sink. Lucette. The king is sitting in his usual seat, but his expression is as vacant as it was earlier. It's nothing. Mother follows my line of sight and frowns. Mithras told me of your request. I had not anticipated that you would require something from him in exchange for reviving me. But no matter. I had no desire to see Alacaster's plans come to fruition. Where is Sir Alacaster? My mother beckons quietly with a wave of her hand, and servants begin to place platters of food on the table. Exiled. There's no place in this kingdom for a snake like him. They gasp. Then why is Varg still here? My mother looks at me with knowing eyes as the servants spoon soup into our bowls. You still need a guard, my dear. It was fortuitous. Fortuitous? I believe that's the word I want to use here. Jill, don't call me out like this, okay? It was fortuitous of me to retain him, considering your actions today. I looked down, my mind racing. But enough of these inconsequential notions. We must discuss your training. What? You are the crown princess, and you must learn how to be a queen. Eventually, you too shall become the Tenerum bearer. I will show you how to control it. It was impossible for me to think of Mother as a witch. But seeing how she speaks so casually of the Tenerum, and considering all that has happened this week, I have no choice but to believe it. Why did you not tell me about the Tenerum, about the witches? Dearest one, you were so young. I wanted to protect you. And it's no matter now, for I am here. And I will teach you through practical demonstration. I've always found that it be the most effective way. She looks at me sharply. We will begin by punishing those that cursed you. Fear and shock immediately fled through me. What? Punish Parfait and Delora? They have acted to keep you from me and from your destiny. They must be punished. Don't you wish for revenge on those that have wronged you so? Ooh, boy. Ooh, boy, howdy. It's bad. It's all bad. Ooh, it's all bad. Whoop. Okay. So... I feel like I want to protest, but at the same time, staying silent. Oh, excuse me. Staying silent also feels like a right answer. I don't know. I guess we're going to protest. I do not want revenge. Mother sets down her spoon. Ow. Dearest one, need I remind you of how the people of this world will seek to abuse your nature and your position in order to use you? Have you not experienced the selfishness and greed of people firsthand? Were you not cursed by such people? You're right, but Delora and Parfait, they had been kind to me as well. Mother goes back to eating. Regardless, we shall start your lessons tomorrow. For some reason, my eyes are drawn once more to the king. He has not moved since dinner began. His soup is still untouched. The king is barely conscious. Mother is right here, so close to me, and yet nothing feels right. You will succeed me in all things, my daughter. Mother speaks and my attention snaps back to her. I expect nothing but your full devotion to this task. I mechanically bring a spoon of soup to my mouth and swallow. Could I really punish anyone? Oh, dearest one. Mother's voice pulls me from my thoughts. She reaches over and brushes my hair away from my face. Her touch is heartbreakingly familiar. She's right here, but I feel like this is the most distance I've ever been from her. We're never going to be separated again. Chapter 8, Uprising. Uprising? Isn't that the name of a song? Lucette. I cannot do this. You are not trying hard enough. But it's almost as if you do not wish to complete your training. Ever since Mother came back, she has been teaching me to use my magic, but her methods are, well, I cannot bring myself to agree with the way she teaches me. But this is a little bird, no more. This bird is still alive. It's been trying to escape the dome it's been trapped under this whole time. Your bleeding heart will be the end of us all, Lucette. Do you feel such turmoil every time you have a meal? Do I need to remind you how many animals are killed on a daily basis just for your meals? But this is different. Why can't Mother see that? All you are doing is removing the air in the dome. This is a lesson about control. How else are we to tell when you are successful without such a barometer? Mother raises her hand and without an apparent effort manipulates the air in the dome. Now you see how simple it is? I stare at the bird's lifeless body inside the dome. The sight of it brings back old memories. This happened before. And even then I was not able to save the bird's life. I still cannot save anything. And because you hesitated, another bird must be brought in. How many birds will it take, Lucette? I need you to focus, dearest heart. We will continue tomorrow, and I expect you to perform as expected. Do you understand? Lucette. I nod my head numbly. Mother opens her arms and beckons me towards her. I reluctantly step towards her so that she can embrace me. There is no more warmth in her embrace. There is nothing. Mother strokes my hair. Before I found the gesture endearing and comforting. But now I feel cold. I do this because I love you, Lucette. You understand, yes? The words I want to say are trapped in my throat. I can't. Mother pulls back, a questioning look in her eyes. Say you love me, darling. Of course I love you. I do love her, but things are different now. I cannot deny who she is or what she can do. Mother sighs heavily before releasing me and turning around. Varg. The door opens and Varg steps inside immediately. He kneels before us. Your Majesty, take my daughter back to her room. As you command. Varg rises and bows before going to hold open the door for me. Princess. Good night, Mother. I curtsy and follow Varg out of the throne room. Ever since Fritz disappeared the day I woke up, he has not returned. The hope that he would return and that Varg would be destroyed is slowly disappearing. Every morning I wake up and find Varg standing outside my door. I become more disheartened. I look at Varg's back as he walks in front of me. How am I supposed to bring Fritz back? Varg is only getting stronger each day. At this rate, Fritz will... Adieu. You know that will not work anymore on me, Princess. Fritz used to come when I said that word, but I no longer see any signs that he hears me. Oh, worried about your night? Let me tell you something that might lift your spirits then. He's not gone. What? He doesn't think he can afford to lose. He's not giving up control without a fight. Thought you might want to know. Why are you telling me this? You haven't been yourself the past few days. Why do you care? Ugh, my boy. Varg stops and turns to look at me. He's looking at me the same way Fritz always does, with gentle acceptance. I can almost believe I'm looking at Fritz and not Varg. I've been asking myself the same question. I know these feelings for you are not my own, and yet... Feelings for me? I guess his emotions for you are too strong. It's rubbing off on me, and now I'm stuck caring about you too. Varg's expression changes, a subtle sadness creeping into his eyes. Stupid. We both know who you'll choose when the time comes. Oh my god! What? Varg smiles, but it's devoid of any cheer. He turns around and continues walking without waiting for me. Hurry up, Princess. The rest of our walk is silent. The night is deep, dark, and gentle, but I cannot find peace or sleep in the all-consuming silence. It has been 2 weeks since Mother's return, and 2 weeks since I have been able to sleep through the night. Most of my days are spent at Mother's side. When we aren't patrolling Angela, she's teaching me how to use the tannerum, readying me as her successor. Every day, it only becomes clearer to me that the kingdom is suffering. The people fear and hate us. It's even worse than it was before. Mother is cruel to everyone, even though I've yet to see them do anything wrong. This is why Father hated her? Your Highness, I beg your forgiveness. My child was not watching where he was going. The man's son had wandered out in front of us. The soldiers' horses would have crushed the child if the man didn't push him out of the way. The stop on the road has caused a delay in our arrival back to the palace. Mother had been out visiting an old friend, a witch. Mother? There's a blinding flash of light as Mother draws a shape in the air. When the light clears, the man has disappeared in front of us. He is collapsed against the wall of a nearby building. They gasp. Mother threw him into the building? Let us continue. But Mother, that man isn't moving. I do not think he's breathing. Come along, Lucette. Mother, why did you do that? The man, Are you questioning me, Lucette? Mother's gaze is cold as steel, her eyes as sharp as blades. I flinch away from her. You've become soft. The world has changed you while I was sleeping. Do not worry, dearest heart. I will bring you back to what you were. I promise. Mother smiled at me then, the same smile she would always give me when I was a child. I used to be comforted by the sight of it, but now it terrifies me. And the king. I choked down the lump in my throat. He is gone. He speaks, he eats, but he is not here. If it were not clear in his actions, it is clear when I look into his eyes. He is right there, and yet I miss him. The frustration makes me restless. I stand up so that I can make my way towards the window and stare outside. I'm being ridiculous. Why should I miss him when he's been nothing but neglectful? I have forgotten how he stopped caring about me when he invited his new family into the palace. He treasured them and his kingdom more than he ever loved me. He never valued me. And yet I would give anything to go back to how things had been. The weight on my shoulders and in my heart is overwhelming. The feeling only worsens when I turn my thoughts to another person. Fritz. With a sigh, I lean my forehead against the cool glass of the window. Varg said that Fritz is still fighting, so he must still be in there. How can I help him? Fritz? No. Who? Before I can turn, someone claps a hand over my mouth. The rest of my words are muffled. What is going on? They gasp. Long time no see. That voice. Jurian? That's right. Remain calm, princess. She slowly lowers her hand. I turn around and stare, surprised to see her here in my room. What are you doing here? She smiles, and some of the weight in my heart lifts. We are on a rescue mission. We? At that moment, a man sidesteps into the doorway, his footsteps cautious and soft. Garland. He does not turn completely, but cranes his neck to give me a small smile. A soft smile, excuse me. Glad to see you're safe, Princess. I can barely believe the two of them are standing here. It's been so long. We apologize for being late. We've been trying to get into the palace for the last few months, but a powerful shield has been keeping us from entering. Lady Parfait could easily destroy it, but it would have meant destroying the palace as well. The last thing we want is to cause panic among the people. Mithras and Varg are crafty. They've been watching over the palace like hawks. And it was difficult to speak with Prince Rod when he was being watched around the clock. We needed more time to make sure our rescue mission would not fail. Then how did you find a way inside? Lady Parfait managed to find a weak spot in the shield, but it's thin and only allows a few people into the palace at one time. Garland and I know this place better than anyone. That's why we're here to rescue you. Delora and Lady Parfait want to come, but the shield easily detects witches and fairies. But they're waiting for us at the Marchand, Princess. Wasn't I meant to escape with Rod and Evangeline before? Yes, that was the only other plan we had, though it didn't go as expected when someone caught whiff of their plans and sent Varg out to kill them. So they tried to save me before and failed. Oh my goodness, so many things are happening. Holy crap. There's just so much excitement. And I'm getting mixed up in my stitches. Why did you come for me? I think is the one I want to do here. They look at me, their expressions baffled. What? I cross my arms as I look at them. Why would you rescue someone you hate? Princess. Of course we come for you. You're part of the Marchand after all. What? Jurian looks at me seriously. Let's go. Jurian heads towards the door but stops when she notices that I'm not following her. Coming, Princess? How can the Marchand take me back after everything I said and done? How could the Marchand accept me back? Do they even want me to return? I only realized I had spoken out loud when Jurian answers me. Princess, we wouldn't be here if that wasn't the case. We have to leave now. We're running out of time. I can think about this later. I nod and follow them out of my room. Jurian leads the way and I follow after her. Garland brings up the rear, his eyes alert as he constantly surveys our surroundings. The night around us is cold and still, but the quiet only makes me more anxious. Varg usually appears in situations like this. Is he not here? And I feel so useless having to be rescued like this. Garland reaches out to place a hand on my shoulder. We're almost down. I nod, not trusting my own voice. Shh. Garland stands at attention as we continue slowly moving forward. Eventually, a figure moves to block our path. Of course it does. And what is this? They gasp. I cannot move. June and Garland, however, already have their swords out. The deadly metal glitters in the gray glow of the moon. And here I thought the fairy had given up. Oh my god, Mithros. Mithros. Her voice is a low growl. It's so full of malice it makes the hairs in the back of my neck stand on end. Let us pass. And if I did, where would you be taking the princess? Jurian's shoulders tense. Garland glares at Mithros from behind her. I could lie, but it would also be easier to just kill you. You're as bloodthirsty as ever. But unfortunately, I cannot allow your mischief to continue. Sir Mithros just begun to raise his hand when Jurian darts forward, her sword gleaming as she raises it to slice at his arm. Sir Mithros howls, falling hard to the ground as he curls in on himself, cradling his injury. Oh, shit, that's amazing. Go, quickly. The remaining quiet is all but shattered as we run away from Mithros. Though he's in pain, I can still hear his voice calling out from behind us. Do not think this will be so easy, princess. I ignore him and keep running, not daring to look back. We've been running for a while now. My legs are beginning to go numb. Only a little longer, princess, and we'll be out. You're doing well. I can do no more than nod as I force myself to keep running. I'm pathetic. I'm slowing them down so much. There, I can see the exit. Watch out! Jurian falls back to evade the explosion and bumps into me in the process. Moments later, however, she is once again standing at the ready with her sword. Garland sets his hand firmly on my shoulders to help me regain my balance. What was that? A familiar face emerges from the smoke, her expression cold. Oh no! Lucette. Mother. I didn't want to believe Mithros, but here you are. Princess, get back. Mother turned to face Jurian and Garland, her expression full of contempt. I remember you. Jurian Valentine. And you as Garland Belrot. Belrot? I thought I was rid of Alacaster's pests. We did not work for Alacaster. No, you and your pet have changed alliances, haven't you? What? What did you call him? The smile on Mother's face is bright and cruel. It sends chills trailing down my spine. Is that not what he is? Mother casually waves a hand at Garland, who remains quiet. He follows you around like a lost puppy. He's so desperate for a scrap of affection that he would do anything for you, regardless of his own pride. It's admirable how well he knows his commands. Stop it. Come, Garland. Sit, Garland. Good boy, Garland. Shut up. Jurian, don't. But his words come too late. Jurian rushes forward, her body nothing but a blur, her teeth bared in savage hatred. Jurian is fast, but Mother is faster. She raises her hand and sends Jurian back with a terrible flash of light as Garland catches her. And you defend his honor as if he were some poor maiden. How pathetic. Garland's voice is soft as he steadies Jurian. Jurian, please. She's just trying to get a rise out of you. I know that. Jurian throws his hands off, a murderous look in her eyes as she glares at Mother. Mother remains in the same spot, smiling that terrible smile of hers. She's amused by this, nothing more. Get the princess out of here, Garland. What are you saying? I am not leaving you here. Once she's safe, come back for me. Jurian finally turns to look at him, a soft smile on her face. Jurian, no. Trust me, lad. No, I need to use the nickname. There's a long moment of silence as the two gaze at each other. Unspoken words pass between them, and eventually Garland caves. All right. Both of them tighten their grasp on their swords. Are you done? Mother hasn't moved, but her presence in the small tunnel is overwhelming. Her magic smothers the very air. Jurian sinks into a stance, her body loose and poised, seemingly unperturbed. Ready when you are. Mother does not attack. Instead, she turns to face me with one graceful movement. Lucette, stop this nonsense. This is no time for games. Be a good girl and go back to your room. Oh, I hate it. I hate the condescending. I hate it with a passion. No, Jill, don't throw it out the window. No. No, 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 no. Oof. Stand your ground? We can't reason with her. You can't. Dearest one. I stand resolute and take strength from Garland's steady presence behind me. What Mother is doing is wrong. What she wants isn't right and has never been right. What she's done to the king, what she's done to Angelia, how am I meant to look at her the same way? My voice is quiet when I finally speak. No. What? I take a deep breath and look her in the eyes. No, I will not return to my room. Mother's expression is unexpectedly calm as she looks at me. My own daughter would choose these traitors and liars over me. Is my love so inconsequential to you? Has she ever truly loved me? Mother, if your love is what love is meant to be, I do not want it. Mother is not who I thought she was. When I look at her now, all I can see is what she truly is. Evil. Clearly you have become corrupted during my absence. I suppose it must be the work of the infernal fairies. Never mind. Once I have destroyed each and every one of them, you will return to me, my daughter. She raises her hand and light curls around her fingers. Before she can cast her spell, Jurian is at my mother's side. They gasp. Jurian's sword glints as it slices through the air and then through Mother's clothes. Go! Princess, come on. But Jurian, if we leave her here alone... Garland pulls me away from my mother and Jurian as their battle begins. I hear the dull clatter of metal as we run and can see the flashing of light even as we escape back the way we came. Garland... Oh, yep, I already read that, thank God. Garland... We have not gotten far before I force Garland to stop. Garland! It's only when I grab his shoulder that he stops and turns to look at me. Princess, we cannot leave her there. Maybe I can convince Mother to let her go. You really think you can convince that witch? I can try. My job is to keep you safe. Mother has all the power of the crystalline tin room at her disposal. I force myself to say it. Julian will not last long. Garland, you have to know this too. Julian must know as well. Garland's jaw hardens and he stares at me, not truly looking at me but through me. Garland, please. We cannot let Julian die. Not when we might be able to do something about it. Garland stares at the ground, his expression conflicted. I know he cares for her, and that is why he must go back for her. Garland closes his eyes briefly. When he opens them, I know he has made his decision. When we return, the scene is very different. Blood splattered the tunnel walls, and Julian is on her knees, bent forward, her face away from us. My mother is nowhere to be seen. Julian! Garland is suddenly in front of me, mindlessly racing towards Julian. Julian! Julian! All at once she seems to come alive. She gasps out for breath and coughs. Garland, what are you doing here? I told you to. Her voice wavers as Garland crouches down in front of her. He folds himself around her and pulls her gently to his chest. His eyes are shut tight as he buries his face in her hair. Oh my God, no. Julian chokes back a sob as she reaches up to hold him tightly. I exhale in relief. No, both of them are alive and safe. I know, but you guys need to go. You idiot. I told you to get her out. The princess gave me permission to disobey an order. He lifts his head to smile back at me. Oh my God. She outranks you, Julian, at least as far as titles are concerned. Pick her up and go! Garland slowly guides her to her feet. What happened? The queen disappeared and I... Julian suddenly stops. We hear at the same time a terrible ripping sound, like the air itself is being torn. I see the slither of shadows and unnatural light in the darkness, and suddenly I realize what is happening. My panicking mind is only able to process everything that happens in slow motion. My mother appears behind Julian, poised to strike. I see the horror in Garland's eyes and then accept and determination. No, I hate it. I try to cry out a warning, anything, but I can barely breathe. Garland pushes Julian towards me and out of the way as he rushes my mother. Sorry, I'm just so disappointed. No. At the same time, Garland pushes forward. Mother holds out her hand. It takes only a single heartbeat for her to plunge it into Garland's chest. God damn it. Garland! What a loyal pet, giving your life for hers. Garland's face crumples in on itself, even from where I can hear Mother's twisting her hand inside of him. Oh my God, what an awful person! And how sad. Mother wrenches her bloody hand out and Garland falls to the ground. You fool. You didn't even tell her that you loved her. You... Julian runs at my mother. A desperate cry of grief and rage escaped from her. Julian, no. She's too weak from her own injuries. She can barely hold up her sword. And I am unable to speak or move as Julian rushes towards her own death. But Mother simply sidesteps, her expression disinterested as Julian falls to her knees. I was kind enough to kill him slowly for you, so you could say your goodbyes. Mother turns to face me. The blood drips from her hand down to her dress, where it congeals and oozes like black tar. Do you understand now, dearest one? This is what you have made me do. This is what I must do now to all those who have corrupted you. You are the one who forced my hand. Do not forget that. Thank you for the bits, Jill. Sorry to make you cry. I love you. For a moment, the air in the tunnel disappears, and a terrible silence fills the air. By the time the air comes rushing back into my starved lungs, Mother is gone. The tunnel is empty. Light flicker in the aftermath of her disappearance. The only thing I can hear, apart from the rushing of blood in my ears, is Jurian's sobs. Garland, no. I make my way slowly towards her. It's like wading slowly through murky water. Garland is leaning over Jurian and has his head in her lap. He's still breathing. Parfait can help him. When I crouch down, I can see the open wound Mother left behind. Oh, no. I swallow down the bile that raised in my throat, along with any of my words of comfort. Magic cannot fix this. Garland, please. I get down on my knees beside Jurian. This is my fault. Don't cry. Garland. He smiles at her. It's a genuine smile that breaks my heart. Jurian shakes her head. No, Garland, you can't. Jurian, I love... His voice trails off as he closes his eyes, his breathing becoming more labored. He gasps one last time before his body stills completely. Oh my God, how dare they? Garland? I bite down on my tongue and bow my head as Jurian howls her loss into the distance, into the silence of the blood-soaked tunnel. We spend some time with Garland in the tunnel. Jurian shakes with silent sobs as she grips his still body. But eventually, Jurian gently removes Garland from her lap as she stands up. She takes his sword as she passes her hand to his face one last time. Presses her face to his hand one last time. Then she turns and walks away from Garland's body with his sword clutched tightly in one hand. She grips her sword in the other. It takes all that I have to keep up with her. Jurian, this is all my... Not now. Her voice is quiet and all the more disturbing for it. This is all my fault. Lucette, Jurian, Waltz? What's he doing here? Still a kid, Waltz comes running up to us, his eyebrows creased with worry. I've been waiting so long, I was about to... He pauses, his eyes flickering to the sword in Jurian's hand. Why do you have Garland's sword? Waltz's face pales. Where is he? They gasp. What? Garland is gone. Her hands tighten on the sword she holds. For a few moments her shoulders slouch, but then she turns away abruptly and continues walking. Let's go. Waltz turns to me. They said it was going to be simple in and out, so I let them go alone. What happened in there? What do I say? It was my fault. I'm so sorry you're so upset, Jill. I'll look at the gifts in a second. Actually, we just saved. So I think this is actually a very good time to pause and pick this back up next Monday to give all of us time to collect our emotions and feel things and cried just a little bit. Oh my god. It's brutal. We just came from a playthrough, Karma's playthrough, where we watched Jurian and Garland get together, and now watching them get separated in this one, oh, it hurts. It hurts so bad. It's so sad. It's so sad. This game was just like, oh yeah, let's just have a, like fairy tale curses and falling in love, and it's like, and now here's emotions. So that's nice. So, with that, we are going to pause tonight's game. But thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us and feeling our feels and our emotions. Because they're real. Remember, Black Lives Matter, trans rights are human rights. Stop Asian hate. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Get vaccinated. If anybody on this channel is a white supremacist, a bigot, a TERF, a Nazi, any of that, if you think that somebody's birth or life choices or whatever gives you the right to hate on them, get off my channel, leave. I don't want your subs. I don't want your views. Get the fuck out of here. I'm feeling a lot of emotions, so I'm going to end tonight's stream. But thank you all so much for being here. Remember, our Patreon is live. You can subscribe to our Patreon for $1, $5, $10, or the very limited slots for the $25 one. Go check it out, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.